Despite starting quarter two with a lot of enthusiasm and motivation to get things done, things didn't really go my way, fell into a huge slump, and I've only just started really getting out of it, which is why I'm so excited that Reset Week is here, because that is my time to get cool, calm, and collected for the quarter ahead, so I can make progress on the things that I want to. In this vlog, we're going to be looking at all of the things that I do across Reset Week to get that cool, calm, collected feeling, getting my house in order, getting my goals in order, so that I can hit the ground running at the start of next week when we start the 3 months to change your life challenge, which I am very much looking forward to, but I need to make sure I set the stage right, and that is the purpose of this week. Despite the fact that it is Monday and the official start of Reset Week actually starts just a little bit beforehand. Boop. The actual tasks for Reset Week start before Reset Week even starts, because I need to plan what I'm going to do in order to reset everything. I did use the last Reset Week as kind of a template or a guide to get myself started, but not everything on here is necessarily exactly what I want to do this time. You can see that this is the list that I ended up with, separated into different sections just to keep things organized. But as part of this, I also wrote them all out on the computer, estimated how long each thing was going to take, roughly, and then plotted them out onto a weekly schedule. This is just a rough schedule, it's not necessarily going to be the exact process that we follow, but it gives me something to start with. Something that I also usually do on a Sunday is meal prep for the week ahead in terms of breakfasts and lunches, but I actually have a bunch of leftovers that I'd like to use up before quarter three, so I figured I'd just eat that for the rest of the week. Plus, with some of the social events that I have coming up in the week, I actually don't need a full 7 lunches in particular. I only need 4. Well, I could probably have used 5, but I only have 4, so I'm just telling myself that I only need 4. I've already gone and planned the meals out for the week in terms of dinners and lunches, and then Vogel is going to go and get the groceries tomorrow. This is the one that I could have used a lunch for, but I'm just going to have a snackle plate. I didn't bother recording any of the breakfasts because I'm just going to be having overnight oats for all of them, but I've gone and pre-prepared all of my dry and wet ingredients. I like to prepare them separately because I just prefer to mix it the night before, so then it's only overnight by one night as opposed to multiple days in a row. I know you can in theory leave them multiple days in a row. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know how I'd go with the texture, but just one night is fine for me. Now I just need to decide what kind of flavorings I want in terms of toppings. Another thing I also did to prepare for Reset Week was actually get ahead on one of my reset tasks, which was washing the sheets and making the bed fresh. Vogel figured it would just be nicer to be able to sleep in a freshly made bed for the night before we start Reset Week, and I'm never gonna say no to getting ahead on things. You excited for Reset Week?
Yeah, should be good.
What's your favorite part about Reset Week?
Feeling like my home is better suited to my needs at the end of the week.
Very good answer. What part of your house do you think needs the most right now?
A garage in my office.
Yeah.
Realistically, I need to buy a bookcase for that office.
Yeah, is things getting a little out of hand?
It's working against me at the moment. It's not working with me.
Yeah, so do you think that for Reset Week you're going to put some plans in place as to when you're going to get said bookcase?
I mean, I could buy it tomorrow. I know what I want.
Oh.
But Jess said it clashes with the colours, but I'm like, it's my office, I don't care.
He doesn't want the woods to match. He's such a psycho.
I can't find a matching one. I just found this one, and this one is only in that colour, but it's exactly what I want.
He just doesn't understand. What are your plans for Reset Week, though?
Do what Jess tells me to do.
Wow. Yeah, like when you were told, hey, do you want to be part of this vlog?
Yeah, I was about to brush my teeth.
Yeah, well, go on, get then. Bye. What a cheeky menace. But yes, we will indeed have some Reset Week plans for Vogel, and provided he does them, he can also start the new quarter cool, calm, and collected. Or at least aid to my cool, calm, collectedness. But anywho. Boop. Now as we're in Reset Week though, the actual tasks are already underway. I woke up at 7:30 with my alarm, which was playing an excellent song for the start of Reset Week, went downstairs, did some exercise, then prepped and had my breakfast so that I could make it to our live stream for the channel members, and I actually decided to double that up with another reset task, so we did a reflection on quarter two together. I love reflection, I'm a big believer in the power of reflection, and having that done at the start of Reset Week means that I'm even more excited for just planning out my goals. I'm not going to start goal planning until tomorrow though, because I want to give myself a really decent chunk of time to do that. Instead, I'm going to focus the majority of today on just getting work done. That does of course mean I need to tidy up my desk somewhat, because it is in a state that is not ideal to getting work done. But as part of reset week, I really try and just do the minimum viable work. That meant getting a couple of things done ahead of time last week, mainly so that then I can really dedicate my time during this week to other life areas. Yes, there are going to be some work reset tasks, and I'm going to focus on those today if I can as well, but I really just want to spend some time giving attention to other life areas that maybe don't get as much of my focus during the quarter. As shown before, I did schedule out my reset week tasks, and we're at about 11:50 at the moment, which means in theory I started the newsletter, but haven't quite gotten onto that yet. I'm going to do at least some effort on it before lunch, and then we'll get into the other tasks for work. This pre-scheduling out my time though is like integral to being able to get as much done as possible, mainly because otherwise I will just squander my time on low ticket, low effort, low impact tasks rather than getting resetting stuff done. The newsletter writing is something that I'm slowly getting better at, and thankfully I already had the topic lined up of things that I wanted to talk about, so it didn't take as long as it could have, but I am a bit of a perfectionist, and given that writing isn't a skill that I've spent a lot of time really trying to hone or develop, it does mean that writing projects take me longer than they might take other people. Even though I had originally scheduled the newsletter to take me 2 hours, I actually managed to get it done just in 1, so that one has been successfully scheduled for release tomorrow, and I think this might be the earliest that I've ever actually scheduled a newsletter. Typically speaking, I write them on the day they come out, so I'd usually write them on Tuesday, for release on a Tuesday, at least currently. Not me getting distracted by a bird. What are you doing over there, you cheeky friendo? But no, it feels really good to have that one done, and that's kind of the last piece of content that I have releasing for this week. Everything else has already been scheduled. Oh my god, I'm so ahead. Who is she? It will not stay this up to date for long because, you know, next week, more content, all of those kind of things. There is still work I need to do this week, and I'm gonna try and get as much of it done this afternoon as I can, but for now, it is officially lunchtime, which means my meal prepped meals, which means today I'm having lemon chicken stir fry. I like to do 2 separate meals per container just because then I don't have a whole bunch of separate smaller containers, both in my freezer and my fridge when I need to defrost things. And I just take out the section that I want for my lunch, put it in the bowl, and heat it up. While my lunch is reheating, I also like to use it as an opportunity to prepare my breakfast tomorrow, just mixing the wet and dry ingredients for my overnight oats so that it can chill in the fridge overnight. Normally I eat lunch at my desk, but I figured I'd do it downstairs today just as a change of scenery, especially because today is going to be a work focus, so nice to get out of the office, even if it's just downstairs. Something that I do also want to do today outside of work tasks is anything laundry related. Typically my laundry day is Monday. I'll try and get my laundry done on those days, which doesn't necessarily gel well with doing live streams on Mondays. So that's something I'm looking to change for quarter 3, but more on that later. After finishing off my lunch though, I still had time in my 30-minute block for lunch, so I figured I'd put a load of laundry on, just tidy up my desk a little bit, and then get back to work. I figured it would also be a good opportunity to have a midday check-in with my journal, just to make sure that I'm checking things off as I go and I've written down all the things that I wanted to do today. As part of this, I've looked at the upcoming slots that I have on my reset week schedule for today and just making sure I'm adding those tasks in here as well. So you can see I've got work-related tasks, also just some home stuff like washing towels and whatever, and then also the finance reset, because that's going to be coming up later in the day. As for my work reset tasks, I have some kind of just like general work admin that I'd like to do as much in advance of quarter 3 as I can, mainly so that then during quarter 3 that stuff's already scheduled, ready to roll out. I don't have to mess around with it at all. And also kind of just planning my quarter 3 projects in terms of work and prioritizing which ones are going to be the most important. I don't foresee that prioritization taking all too long. I gave myself a half hour on the schedule. I think it'll probably only take like 5 minutes, but that means that there's more time to dedicate to the other work tasks that didn't necessarily get captured like specifically in that schedule. The nice part about these kind of work admin tasks is that I can just have YouTube running in the background while I get on and get things done. So I just put on some different journaling videos, some stuff about decluttering, because that's a project I have coming up for quarter 3. Really just something that I don't have to pay all that much attention to because I don't want to end up watching the screen rather than doing the tasks that I'm supposed to be working on. I figured I'd just organize them via Notion, so any of the ones that are work-related have the work tag, and then we have a couple other projects that have just been sitting here for a while I was playing around with the system, and I've gone through and I've added priorities to each of those. So for instance, like the Change Your Life Challenge, if we go in and open this one up, you can see that the priority for this one is a high priority, like up the top here. I haven't added any tasks or anything. I actually want to revamp the entire structure of how this works because this is a template that I purchased, so it's not really personalized yet. But I have at least now specified what my work projects are, or the ones that I'm kind of musing with, and the priorities of those based on just a high, medium, low system. Figured it was nice and easy. I don't need to like tier rank things or anything. Though using a prioritization matrix certainly would help in terms of which one I should start on, but I don't think it's super necessary at this stage. The high, medium, low is going to be just fine. Now as that one's done though, I can start doing my other work tasks for the day and also organizing my content for quarter 3, like what videos are going to be coming out, when they're going to be coming out. Even if they end up changing throughout the quarter, which they definitely will, it's still nice to have a rough outline at the start of the quarter to give me some guidance. Checking things off as we go through, definitely making progress. But I was just thinking to myself like, oh my gosh, I'm making great time with this, everything is going so well. And then I looked at the clock and realized I actually only have 15 minutes left of my current block that I had assigned myself, and then I'm supposed to change over to doing the finance task. Definitely thought I was making better time than I actually was, but I'm still technically ahead. I do have probably a couple work things I want to finish up with, and hopefully the 15 minutes is going to be sufficient. I might take like just a tad bit longer, and then I can get on to the finance reset tasks. For now though, I do need to go change the laundry over, otherwise it won't get dry. It'll just sit there, festering in the washing machine. Gross. And of course I also need to put my own laundry on, otherwise I'll have no clean clothes for the week, which isn't really ideal. This one has barely been worn, so it doesn't really need a wash, but the rest of them definitely do. Come on, bucket, time to get washed. Found you a reset task to do.
Yeah, I can do that this afternoon.
Even though there are still a couple of work tasks that I'd like to get done today, I'm going to do the finances stuff first and use that kind of want to get those work tasks done to push me through the finance tasks. Otherwise I will get distracted, like I definitely didn't just do, scrolling pointlessly through Instagram and or Facebook. I got distracted, but I'm back to it now. The financial reset isn't so much a hard task, but it's not a particularly enjoyable one. So for that, I always make sure to put on either a podcast or a video or something that I can listen to while I do my work. And I did definitely find that the race against the clock, because I had those other work tasks that I wanted to do, was really helpful for keeping me focused and on track. Sometimes I like to set a visible timer for this because just being able to see the countdown can hold me to doing my work. But I didn't really feel the need to do that this time. It's just a tactic that I like to keep in my back pocket. So I've gone through and updated my budget by adding all of the new entries, but now I need to take everything that is in yellow, find a receipt for it, and log it with my tax people. My least favorite part about doing budgeting is going and sourcing all of the receipts because I don't really save them as I go. Some of them I do, most of them I don't, which means I need to log into a bunch of different websites to find a bunch of different files and then name them appropriately so I know what they are so that then I can log them, and it just takes a second. It takes a while. It's not very fun. And this is why I only do it once a quarter though. And it's kind of nice that I've front-loaded my week with this because it means once it's done, I have the rest of reset week to not have this looming over my head. At this stage, I've now spent more time on this than I would have liked to. I had a couple of receipts I just could not find. In theory, they were emailed to me, but they're gone now, so it is what it is. Those ones aren't going to get logged. It's cool. Now I just need to take all of the receipts I do have and log them with the tax people. Thankfully, that's only 26 receipts, so it shouldn't take too long. I don't even want to put that out into the world, because now it's probably going to take ages. I didn't say it. There we go, all finished with half an hour to spare. So for that 5 to 5:30 slot, we're just going to do some more work tasks because the other work tasks we have are Epic, which is a work along goals kind of session, and then filming the reading wrap up, and I do not want to distract from that on Wednesday. Thankfully, it's not all too much that I need to do, so it shouldn't take too long. Feeling like a wizard right now. I got every accountability post for the next quarter scheduled on Epic Goals. Oh, yay! Those are effectively little weekly check-ins that we do to say, what are your intentions for the week ahead? How much progress did you make last week? Just as a way to hold us all accountable to doing the stuff we need to do to reach the goals we want to reach. We have our little fleet of posts there, huzzah! But it's also important to make sure that I'm checking things off of my reset task list as I go, just so that I can acknowledge the progress that I'm making. I do want to make sure that I prepare my task list for tomorrow though, because I want to essentially hit the ground running when it comes to the morning. By having my task list already written out, it means that I don't have to spend time preparing for the day in the morning. I can just kind of get underway. But once that one was set up, then it was time to go down to dinner. Vogel and I have decided to tackle a wedding-related task with dinner, and that's to do a prioritization matrix on the options for our food. We had technically already done one earlier this year, but that was with their summer menu. We're actually going to be getting married in winter, or like winter our time. So winter menu is necessary with the winter options and prioritizing those so that we can send through our preferences to the caterer. There are honestly too many things that sound good, and that is why we do the prioritization matrix. It just means that you compare like two options head to head and whether you like one or the other more, rather than trying to pick from the entire list all at once, which can be stressful and overwhelming. Alright, let's have a look. I thought it'd be easier this time if I coloured in the boxes that we're not supposed to count, so then...
That is very appreciated, actually. Or should we start with the less interesting ones first and then move our way up? Beef sliders.
Pork belly.
So I'm happy with either. So we go pork belly? Done. Tick that one. Alrighty. What did you have as your favourite for the next one?
Calamari.
I also had the calamari.
Easy. What were your top two from the starters?
Well, I think you can guess one.
Salmon.
Yep. And then number 2 was the braised lamb shank.
Oh yeah, okay. So braised lamb shank was my second lowest.
Okay, so it won't be that. Would you be willing to do venison?
I wouldn't be opposed to venison. So we've gone through and made our choices for our most preferred and highlighted the options for our tasting. Are you looking forward to our tasting?
Yeah, it should be good. I actually need to get the day off work though.
Yeah, you probably should do that. Otherwise, I'm going to go and eat all this nice food by myself.
And you'll try and get rid of my salmon.
Yeah, no, I think that I don't have a death wish, so I probably wouldn't try and get that off the menu. What's on the cards now?
I'm going to try and speedrun some dishes and then summon you to play some game.
Aw, yes. Tiny fist bump. While he's doing that though, I'm going to go and finish up doing my laundry, because I have neglected it and it needs to be put in the dryer. My laundry's over there, but the floor is cold. With the promise of games on the table though, I had to battle the cold floor of the laundry, put the washing into the dryer, take the drying out of the dryer, and then put the towels away. Despite not being a difficult job, putting away laundry has always been kind of a struggle point for me. I am actually getting better at it though, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Progress to be proud of. Not yet though, it's still sitting on the bed, but I'm getting there. Because our shower is still busted, we've been showering in the other bathroom. But the towel storage in here isn't super great, so while I store my towel in here, Vogel actually stores his in our regular bathroom. To finish off the evening though, Vogel and I just chilled out on the couch, had some leisure time, because leisure is an important part of reset week. Essentially just a way to get myself really nicely rested and feeling refreshed for the quarter ahead. But now it's 9:30 and time to get into bed, because one of my priorities for reset week is also getting good quality sleep. That whole idea of like, being well rested and such. I want to be able to wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, feeling ready to go, because we always start the day with exercise, and it's always easier to exercise when you don't feel like a zombie because you're super tired. So, good night. Good morning. We are awake, alive, barely, but the first thing that I like to try and do with my day is exercise, mainly because I don't hate it as much as I used to, but I still don't particularly enjoy it, so getting it out of the way first thing is usually a good idea. But first I have to get out of bed. Something that has made getting out of bed all that much harder is that where I'm based, it is winter, which means the house is cold, and the bed is toasty, and I don't want to be cold, I want to be toasty. I figure one thing that I could probably do is figure out setting this guy up so that it turns the heater on a half hour before the morning starts. That way I don't have to get out of bed in a cold house, I can get out in a nice toastier environment. Also, with it being warmer, it'll incentivize me to get out of bed, because if I stay in bed, I'm going to get overheated and uncomfy. I don't want to be uncomfy. While during summer, I was taking my walks outside, which was a very pleasant way to get some fresh air and such. Now as it's winter, It rains too often to reliably do that, so we've taken to walking inside. But the problem is, I don't really have any kind of walking equipment inside, so I just end up doing laps around my kitchen, and I feel like that much traffic over the carpet is not necessarily the greatest for the carpet, especially because we do quite a few laps in the morning, which means I'm just wearing out very specific areas of my carpet. I figured that given this is something that I want to keep up for a while, it would probably be a good idea to get some kind of equipment to help me with this. And I'm thinking I'm gonna get a walking pad. I can't find a really good answer as to what the difference between a walking pad and a treadmill is, outside of a walking pad just being like smaller and just for walking, whereas treadmills are kind of like for running as well, and they're a bit bigger and bulkier. I don't feel like I need to run just yet, but a walking pad I think would be nice. Now I just need to research one and buy it and get it delivered so I don't have to do laps around my kitchen anymore. Before I do that though, I figured I'd check over my daily task list and also add the research to that task list and kick off the Epic Goals work-along call. Hey, how's it going? What are we working on today? I am gonna get started with planning my Q3 goals. I've kind of like written out the list of what they are because I had to do them for a video. Now I just need to actually figure out how I'm going to do the things, which is both exciting and also nerve-wracking because it makes it much more of a crystal clear picture in terms of how much work there is to do, but I'm still in the excited phase, so we'll be all right. This is something that we do every week to just work on our goals together, make some progress, and it's just a nice way to have some accountability through body doubling. If you wanted to join us in the Epic Goals Club, that one's linked in the description box. But then it was time to figure out what I was going to do about my walking equipment situation. There are certainly some options to choose from, but all I really know is that I don't really want to have the bar that goes over the top. I know some of these are foldable ones, so you can like put the bar down and such, but I think you still need to have it up while you're walking. I really just wanted to take up the least amount of space possible, both floor-wise and vertically. Mainly because the piece of equipment we currently have is the elliptical, and that one takes up a very large chunk of my floor space, and it doesn't really lead to a very nice, what I call a cozy corner. It's not really all that cozy at the moment because it's just got the elliptical and then typically the clothes horse to like hang out the drying laundry. Not so cute. But I also want this thing to be small enough so that I could get it out and put it away. I probably won't move it around all that often, but I don't want it to just sit in the middle of my floor all of the time. I want it to be the kind of thing that I can put in the middle of the floor, turn on the telly, do my walking, and then just like scoot it to the side. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it, but I still want one because I don't want to wear out my carpet. I tried to make sure that I wasn't doing too much research because I was definitely going to start overthinking things if I left it too long. And so the one I've decided to go with is this one, mainly because I was tossing up between it and another one, but this one was going to arrive sooner, which means less time to wear out my carpet, which is kind of the aim of the game. After checking that one off my list though, then I could get onto some other tasks for my work along, those being related to my goals in particular. Now notably, I have already reflected on Q2, did that yesterday, and we also brainstormed goals for Q3 because I needed to do that for the Change Your Life Challenge video. So really I just need to plan everything, both goals and projects. This planning stage is really important because it's not just what we want to do, but also how we're going to do it, especially because I have that shortened time frame of 3 months. I need to know how I'm going to take action on these things. I do not need a perfect plan, all right? We do not need it to be 100% fully laid out day by day, minute by minute, or anything like that, but I need at least the general idea of what I need to do, and in particular what I need to do in the first week, so that then I can hit the ground running. That's what I want. I like to do all of this planning in my goals journal, which is just dedicated to planning out and mapping out my goals. I like to keep that one fairly simple, just a grey highlight for any headings and then black pen for all of the writing. No decoration or washi tapes or stickers, just my pen and my plans. I'm not sure if I want to plan each of these different goals individually or if I want to kind of combine them because it's going to take up a lot of space if I'm doing a full page dedicated to each of the goals, and a lot of the goals are kind of really interconnected with each other. Like pretty much everything in physical health could just go in physical health. Mental health is different enough that I feel like those ones should be separated into different areas, but some of these other ones I'm just like, I'm just gonna play it by ear. Don't let a half-empty pen hold you back from getting this stuff done. I will deal with you later. We're about 2 hours in now, and I've done a decent chunk of the ones that I need to do. So I've got like physical health, shower fixing. I need to add some more tasks here, but I don't even know what I need to do yet. But in terms of the ones that I've managed to complete, we've done physical health, done the ones for mental health, done personal, done decluttering. I'm up to social at the moment, so I just have finances and work and like, you know, the individual things that I want to do in those. I'm keeping a pretty simple structure for these, not doing a lot of detail because I know why I want to work on these. I could go and write them out, but given how many I have to write, I'm just simplifying it to make it easier and quicker. So I write down a general title, what the goal is, like a sentence and just simply worded, then the action steps done in this kind of Alistair method. So each of these numbers represents a week of the year. So quarter 3 will run from week 27 through to week 39. These dividing lines are just for my different cycles. So 4-week block, 4-week block, 4-week block, and reset week. Like next reset week, not this reset week. By having them all use the same kind of simple structure, it just means that it's kind of streamlining the process. And I do usually like to go in and write down like ideal outcomes and the specific reasoning or why behind the goal. But to do that for every single one of these would make it take so much longer. So I think I might do that as part of a separate kind of reflection or review kind of process, not as part of this kind of like action planning stage that I'm doing now. But this much progress in 2 hours feels pretty good. I mean, it is a decent chunk of time, but I'm not really pushing myself to go particularly fast. I'm letting myself really think about things. So we're getting there. The work is slow, but we're getting there. Our work along session today ended up going for about 3 hours, and now I'm feeling quite peckish, so I'm like, I really just want to go have some lunch. Technically speaking, according to my schedule, lunch isn't until 1 p.m, but I am listening to what the body needs, and the body needs food. Feeling pretty good about the progress we're making though. I still have the one related to the wedding to do, and also another one of the work tasks, and these aren't necessarily all finished. Like, I've noted down what I need to do, but haven't listed them against the weeks. Well, for some of them I have, but for a lot of them I haven't. But knowing that this process does take me a little bit of time, and given how many things I want to get done, it's taking me a little longer, I did schedule pretty much the entire day for doing this. This one in particular, the identifying areas or topics to learn about, I'm going to be doing that today as well as part of my personal development reset. I am more of a mood reader than anything else, but I like to have at least some general ideas about what I might want to read or could read, so doing that ahead of time is going to be helpful. For now though, it is time to go and have some food, because as said, the body is hungry. I also need to make sure that I get out my lunch for tomorrow so that it can defrost, otherwise I won't have lunch tomorrow, and that would make tomorrow just sad. Gotta do future us a favour wherever we can. Future Jess will also want breakfast, so we need to prepare some overnight oats. I'm gonna have a tropical flavour one tomorrow. I think that'll be kind of nice, effectively with like pineapple, and I have this like fruit compote thing. It just comes in a jar. It's what, peach, mango, and passion fruit flavoured. It's pretty nice though. I super love the way that the yogurt and milk separates. Ugh. And I think I'll add a little bit of lemon to it. That'd be kind of nice too. This one's a sugar-free one because I'm trying to not have a lot of sugar. Make sure it's all stirred in. Wouldn't want like a sad, dry lump in the bottom. Cute, cute, cute. Ready for tomorrow. And we have tomorrow Jess's lunch, which is chicken tikka. It's not like a super fancy daily lunch routine or anything, but it is holding me accountable to eating better. So I think that that is still a success. But in terms of your resetting tasks for today, what have you got planned?
I was going to try and catch a shiny tonight, but in terms of other resets, I don't know, to be honest. I know I'm going to make some food for lunch for the week. I was going to make some eggs. So based on that, depending on how long it takes to do all that, I might do some tidying in my office.
Yeah, last reset we recabled your desk. Has that been going well, or?
Yes. My desk is much better now.
Glad to hear it. I, on the other hand, have finished lunch, and thus it is time to go and do some more work, and by that I mean I really need to put away my laundry, because I didn't really get it on in time yesterday to put it away yesterday, so it's just kind of sitting on the bed being a nuisance right now. Not good. But that's okay, there's not too much here, we can put it away. I find that to make my laundry kind of easier to do, so that I actually get it done in a timely manner, I kind of just lowered the bar in terms of how many things I have to fold, how many things I have to kind of like find their pairs for and all of that. I essentially just buy one brand of sock, so all of my socks are effectively the same. And in terms of folding things, I think it's just pants, like just trousers, those are the only things that I fold. Everything else just gets hung up in the closet. It's nice and easy. These ones in particular are stained. I need to save them for the weekend, so I need to make sure that they are the ones that come out of the closet on Sunday, because I'm going to a resin workshop type thing, which is very exciting. I'm very curious about the idea of like resin art and such. I haven't done it before, so it should be good, but she did specifically say make sure that you wear clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. I don't really keep a lot of those clothes outside of my hair dye top, and I'm not wearing my hair dye top. That is not outside of the house appropriate. But those stained pants, they're stained with like bleach or something, so they're also not really out of the house appropriate, but they'll work for a resin class, or at least I think they will. I also make my life just a little bit easier by mainly sorting things into piles and then going from there, rather than taking one piece of clothing and like putting it away, and then taking the next piece of clothing and putting it away. It just makes more sense in my mind to put everything into loose piles and then put them away in bunches. Or batches, I guess. When it comes to my hangables, I essentially just take everything and put it in a pile, so the part that the coat hanger is going to go through is all kind of in line with each other, so then I can just stack the coat hangers kind of on top of that section and hang everything up at once. It probably sounds a little bit odd, but I'll show you what I mean. So here I have all of my shirts, and you can see that the collar is all in the same spot for every single one of them. So then I can just grab a stack of coat hangers, put those down here, so I can just take one and feed one through, and then the next, and the next, and the next, all at the same time. Then once I feed all the coat hangers through, I can just go and hang the whole thing up all at once. One of the things that I find often holds me back from putting away my laundry on the day that I wash it is just thinking that the task is going to take me a really long time. If you find that you're the same, I encourage you to set yourself a stopwatch and time how long it actually takes you. Not only is this just helpful to know, but usually tasks like this actually take us less time than we think. This one is my bed top, so it does not get put away. And this one is the one I used as a bed top last night, but is actually my hair dyeing top, so it needs to be put somewhere. I'm going to be using it later this week because I'm going to dye my hair. That is a future me task though, so for now it is back to doing more goal planning so that I can enter the next quarter feeling cool, calm, and collected, knowing what I need to do and when I need to do it. This is definitely the project plan that I was kind of dreading the most because it is the most involved. Notably, it is the wedding planning, or the, planning page for the wedding planning. This is all the stuff I have to do. Actually, it probably isn't all of this stuff. There is definitely other things that I probably have to do as well, and now I need to go and schedule it to all of the different weeks that we have in quarter 3, which obviously it's not going to use like all of the weeks because we're getting married here, week 35, so week 36, 7, 8, and 9 aren't going to have quite as many tasks, like sending thank yous, yeah, but other than that, not so much. The other ones are looking pretty good so far. We've got those ones written out. I just need to go and actually schedule things. Some of them I've left a bit of extra space on because I feel like there might be other things that I want to add in, and you know, the plans don't have to be perfect. They just have to be at least softly planned. The progress that I'm hoping to make does not require perfection. It does not require a perfect plan to get started. I need to keep telling myself that because I'm very much one of those people who, if I don't have everything planned out in advance, I start to get a little maybe worried that I'm gonna maybe do the wrong thing, or I'm gonna start down the path in the wrong direction. I'm gonna like waste my time, effort, and energy. But for most of these things, I do know, at least in the vaguest of senses, what I have to do, and the tasks that I've written down, even if they're not perfect, they're still gonna take me in the right direction. According to the schedule though, I do still have some time left to this task, though it is actually only 2:15, so I've got actually quite a bit of buffer, which is nice. I might just start the self-improvement planning early because I also haven't started this month's book club book, and it's currently the 24th of the month, so time is running out. If I can use a little bit of time this afternoon to get started on that book, that I think would be a very good idea. I don't want to show up to the book club meeting not having read the book because then I will be punished. Not everybody gets punished for not reading the book, it's just the hosts, aka me and my 2 friends. We get punished if we don't read the book, and I do not want to be punished. Last time I had to buy and wear Crocs. Only made worse because they were like off-brand Crocs, so they weren't even comfortable. After spending another half hour trying to map out my tasks and tie them to each of the individual weeks, I definitely hit a point where I was just not being as effective as I was previously. Kind of just lost a bit of energy and motivation to do the task. If you spend a whole bunch of time on just one thing, if you're like me that is, then you kind of get to a point where you're like, nope, I need to do something different. I did end up going and writing myself a list of my kind of like daily non-negotiables. They're probably going to be negotiable. I'm just calling them non-negotiable, so I feel like I'm more committed. But those are going to be the habits that I'm trying to track across the 3 months Change Your Life challenge. So I can put those into my routine or habit tracker for each week. feeling good about the list. It is a few things, but not so many that I feel like it's going to be too unmanageable. Knock on wood. What I do want to do at this stage though is go and pick out the 3 books that I want to read as part of my kind of like personal development plan for quarter 3. So 3 areas that I'm kind of curious to learn more about, just want to get a little bit more information about. I have this kind of tendency to default to self-help books that are productivity related, and I feel like I know a decent chunk about productivity now, so it'd be nice to learn about other areas. They're still going to be in the realm of like helping myself out and helping me do life better, but just something a little bit different. I already have at least one of those in mind, so hopefully this doesn't take too long. Alrighty, I've got my interests outlined on my little post-it note. Now I just need to go and find some books to help me learn about them. This essentially just involved scrolling through Goodreads a whole heap, trying to find titles that sounded interesting by authors that seemed credible, and also books that had high enough ratings that I felt like I wasn't getting myself into something I wasn't going to enjoy. I've got my book options. Not every one of them is just like one book. I have 2 possible options for the menstrual health one because I'm just not sure which one's going to resonate with me more. I don't want to like lock myself into reading a book and then start reading it and realize, oh no. Especially with a topic like menstrual health, sometimes people get a little bit too woo-woo or whatnot. That's not necessarily quite what I mean, but it just ends up being a lot less tactical and helpful. When I'm reading a self-help book or like any kind of non-fiction book, I'm usually looking to learn something that I can apply to my life, and I don't typically apply things that feel woo-woo, even though I do a little bit of that sometimes. For now though, I just want to write down a formal list of the habits and routines that I'm going to be trying to build across quarter 3, and then spend the rest of the afternoon starting that book, because it's not going to start itself, and I will not show up to book club without having read it. And there we go, locked in the best way I know how. They have been written into the journal, making sure I check off the tasks that I've done today, and then it's time to go and do some reading. I got Vogel a sous vide for his birthday, so he's using it to make us some steak for dinner, which is kind of exciting. We haven't used it before, so hopefully it goes well. He is quite excited. And we got some potatoes and some beans that you like cannot see, but they're sitting on top of the pizza stone. Vogel did a really good job of dinner, and we're both pretty full now, so he's doing the dishes. I'm just going to sit here and read my book a little bit more, because I've technically finished the story. We're into the epilogue? Is that the part that comes after the main story? Whatever the part that comes after the main story, I'm up to that part. I didn't actually end up picking up the book club book, mainly because I had another book that I started, like, I don't think it was last month, but it was certainly earlier this month. It's been a while since I started it, and I really would just like to finish it. It's not to say I wasn't enjoying it, it's more so just like I put it down and then life did the life thing and got all busy, and I didn't pick it back up again. So it's gonna be good to get that one checked off today, even though I was enjoying it because I had been putting it off. It kind of felt like a slog. Good story, not gonna be a 5-star, but still enjoyable. And then tomorrow, if I have any reading time tomorrow, which I don't know if I will, but if I do, then I will start the book club book and hopefully get through it promptly. I'm looking forward to it as well. It's The Dose Effect, which I think is about dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. I think that's what the E stands for. Technically speaking, it was the one that I put forward for the poll, so, like, you'd think I'd know what it was actually called, but I don't remember. But I thought it'd be cool to learn more about, like, neurotransmitters in the brain and such, because that was kind of what the read theme was. It was a topic that you're interested to learn about, or something like that. I'm curious about it. I'm curious to see what the book's about, so that should be good. But, yeah, need to finish this one first. After wrapping up my book, though, Vogel and I just had some game time on the couch together, playing The Casting of Frank Stone. I made sure to write out my task list so that I can get started bright and early, and now it's about 9:26, so I'm gonna go get ready for bed and get straight on into bed because the body is tired. The body very much appreciated getting an early night last night, so I'm hoping to keep that up for the rest of the week. I don't know if I'll be able to do 9:30 in bed for every single one of those days, but it has been nice getting better sleep. I mean, I say that, it's only been one night. It's been one night so far, but so far so good. So putting good vibes out into the universe for more better sleep. Anywho, good night. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Going to bed early translated in getting up early. My actual wake up was at like 5:50 and I'm like, no, we shall have more sleep. So ended up properly waking up at 6:50, but didn't get out of bed until about 7:20. Again, out of the bed was cold and in the bed was warm, so I didn't want to get up. On the cards for today is mainly work tasks, so filming a video that's going to be coming out next week, and also filming for the podcast episode that'll be coming out in 2 weeks' time. Sadly, I'm going to have to be the one to edit that because Mark is going away. Ugh, editing, my nemesis. As you can see, we're just doing kitchen laps to start the morning with exercise because the walking pad is not here. I hope that it arrives soon because I want to stop wearing out my carpet. But outside of that, I actually have the rest of the afternoon off, which means I probably could get started on the book club book, which would be good, or I could move up a couple of my other reset tasks. Kind of depends on how I feel, and I also might have some other work tasks pop up throughout the day, so it'd be good to hold some space for those just in case they come about. With the planning that was done yesterday in terms of my Q3 goals, I'm feeling very optimistic about the quarter ahead. I know that it's still going to be a lot of work and there's going to be a lot to do, especially on the wedding front, but having the plan in place just means that I now have to follow the plan. I mean, the plans aren't perfect, because perfect is not required for progress, but it still gives me a starting point to work with, and that's really just what I want it to be. For now, though, I'm going to put something on the TV so that I have something to listen to while I walk, and do about a half an hour of this. I think the walking pad is here. Oh my gosh. Yay, it's here! But I don't really want to stop my walking right now to set that up, so that is a future me problem. Not too much of a future me problem though, probably a later today problem, but for now, walking. After finishing off my walk, having some breakfast, and having a shower, then it's time to get started with the day. I'm not gonna lie, I'm super not feeling like recording right now, but I know it needs to be done because I need to get it bundled up and sent to my editor so that she can go through and like clip out all the parts where my hands aren't doing anything of interest. Honestly, it's not so much the filming, it's the prep work that comes before the filming because I need to make sure I have all my materials sorted, otherwise there's very long pauses in the video where I need to go and get the materials. This is the list of media that I need to make pages. This is the list of media that I'm going to be making layouts for. And when it comes to that, I need the cover, the title, and whatever decoration, and probably a pen color match. That one isn't too hard to get out like at the time, but the rest of these I want organized or printed in advance. For the titles, sometimes I can find them online just as PNG files, very easy, just like download, size, print. Other ones I have to make myself, and that takes a while, and that's probably what has me sitting here like, I don't want to do it, why? But it's not going to make itself, and I better get on with it, because I don't want to spend my entire day on this. I'll just do future me a favor by getting it done. That's also not to say that I don't enjoy doing my reading journal, I'm just not feeling it right now. We have the sticker sheet all sorted, now I just have to print it off and cut everything out. And it took me like 47 minutes to find all of the elements, and I didn't end up having to make any of the titles. I mean, I probably could have. I started doing it for Little Liar and Little Stranger because I couldn't find them, and then I was like, no, I couldn't be bothered. We're not doing this right now, I'm just gonna find a font that matches good enough, and we're gonna use that instead. I do also have to go and find all the decoration though, so I have this like sneaking suspicion that I'm not gonna get this filmed until after the podcast is recorded, but it's fine. After printing out and cutting out the elements that I'd already collated, then it was time to find decoration. I started looking through my sticker books, decided I was just gonna go with kind of some still images of some of the movies, so that's kind of easy. Can't say I've gotten very far with collecting them though, because I got distracted by YouTube and started watching videos about decluttering, because I'm just like really excited about my decluttering project. But now it is time to film the podcast, which means I need to tidy up quickly because I don't want to keep Mark waiting. Though technically speaking, he did say he was gonna be a few minutes late, so I'm just kind of like cruising a little bit. But I can't cruise too much because there is definitely stuff that needs to be put out of the way. It's not so much that those things will be seen on the podcast, it's more so I don't want to roll my chair back into them and cause more of a mess. Is just pushing things to the side a perfect solution? No, but it is the solution that I'm going with right now. At least the journals are off the floor, I can be happy about that. And as long as this looks the part, everything is fine. After getting the final touches set up though, we are actually ready to record. I just need to wait for Mark. That one's done, it's been recorded, I'm just waiting for the footage to actually upload properly so that then I can download it and eventually edit the podcast. I'm not going to do that anytime soon because this episode is going to come out in like 2 weeks time. I think I still might be on microphone. I don't really want to be like yelling at Mark. That would be rude. That's better. Yeah, totally just had the microphone on and was probably just talking into Mark's office without him being there. So hopefully I didn't spook anybody. For now though, I think I'm probably going to take pause and just go and get some lunch because I do still need to film my reading journal setup. I'm just not quite ready to do it yet. I need to collect a couple more pieces of decoration and then I will be able to do it. I do think though that once everything has been collected, it's going to make the process of doing the recording a lot faster. I mean, that's typically how it works. As long as I have all my supplies out and I'm ready to roll, it means that the filming really isn't that tricky. I probably should start collecting these things in advance, like when I finish each piece of media, because it would make the time spent prior to filming just a little bit less, which would be nice. But for now, I'm going to take a thumbnail for the podcast because we have the background all ready to go and the camera set up, go get some lunch, and then get back to work. I think I'm going to use wanting to set this up as like my incentive to just get on and get the things filmed. No stuffing around because I want to get you ready for tomorrow. I do appreciate at the start of the day how convinced I was that I was going to finish off everything early and then get some time in the afternoon to like read or something. It's currently 4:30. I'm not too sure when Rachel finishes work, but we're going to hers for Bujo Wednesday tonight, so that's to look forward to. Need to decide on what I want to work on when I'm there, and I think it might be populating my journal. I haven't decided just yet, so need to give some thought to that because I do need to pack so that I can leave soon. But I do want to go downstairs and unbox the walking pad because it'd be really nice to have that set up for tomorrow so that then Jess doesn't have to walk around her kitchen. Future Jess would appreciate that, so I think I'm going to go and do that first. I wonder if it's easier to do this in the box or out of the box. I opted for in the box because I figured it would be easier to scoot across the carpet, but it still proved to be quite difficult. I'm just going to walk it across the carpet. Just don't want to hurt it or my floor. Ow, that was my toe. Cool. Haha! Future me problem. Oh, there are pieces and an instruction manual. Tape. Ugh. Ugh. We have a bottle of lubricant oil for motorized treadmill. Good to specify. We don't want people using those for the wrong things. Do not step here. Okay, I won't step there. You think I can just lift it out with the bag? I don't know. How strong am I? How strong is the bag? Nope, not strong enough. It is still taped into the box. That is a good thing to fix first. Be gone. Alrighty, muscles. Ugh, good job. Get off. There probably was a smarter way to go about this, but I didn't do that, so here I am. Bam. Dee-dee-dee. Just ignore all of the mess that I now need to figure out a spot for. We appear to have some feet, and also a user's manual, so I should probably have a look at this for how to install said feet. I may or may not have gotten distracted and dropped it on my foot. That really hurt. That's gonna bruise so badly. Let's just focus on the task at hand so we don't have any more mishaps. Is this position ideal? No, but it is pretty exciting. Like, I'll be able to stand there and do my walking and watch the telly at the same time. Still need to put away the rubbish, but that's a future me problem because Rachel is on her way home, which means I need to go pack, well, figure out what project I'm going to take and pack and head over to hers. In the end, I decided that it would be a good opportunity to start migrating into my new journal. So I took my current one, my new one, also my yearly collections journal and my scribble book just in case. Of course, had to make sure to load up on some Coke Zeros and then it was time to head off. I can say now that I have officially started the book club book. I decided to listen to that as an audiobook on the way over. And then Rachel and I had a very enjoyable evening. I was pottering in my journal. She was just organizing some admin stuff. We had pumpkin soup. And now I'm back in the car and ready to go home. I am tired. I am ready for bed. And I am excited to use my walking pad in the morning. So for now, good night. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, which I just said, but Thursday is typically my lowest energy day. It's the day where my energy kind of plummets a little bit. I typically, if I'm working, don't get a lot of stuff done. That is why, in terms of the schedule for today, I have intentionally given myself the afternoon off. Hopefully that sticks, because in theory, yesterday we didn't have anything scheduled for the afternoon, and we all saw how that turned out. I'm very excited to get up and get on the walking pad and give it a, proper go. Michael's like, oh, you're gonna give it a trial run. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna run. I'm gonna work. And he's like, yes, you are hilarious. I'm like, thank you for noticing my comedic efforts. Terrible. But on the cards for today, obviously, exercise, breakfast, get ready for the day, that kind of thing. I'm going to be doing my calendar sorting. So going through, putting in an ideal weekly schedule for myself for Q3 so that I have a rough scaffold of when I want to be doing particular tasks, especially because in Q3, as part of this 3 months change your life challenge, I'm going to be trying to condense my work schedule, make it so I don't work all the time, and also work less days. So far this year, I've really just been trying to not work in the evenings, but I want to make it so that I have at least one dedicated day off, and also possibly 2, maybe 3 afternoons off if I can swing it. I feel like if I hold myself to particular time blocks for work, I'll be better using that time and thus be able to get more done in a shorter period of time. At least that's the theory. We'll see how it actually works out in practice. But I want to make sure that those blocks are on the calendar so I can see them at the start of each week to say like, hey, this is the time you've dedicated to work. What are you going to do during then? So that then I can really work on those 3 months change your life goals. Otherwise, they will be at risk of not happening, and that would be quite sad. Along with the calendar stuff though, I have also given myself the task of inbox zero, which is typically my least favorite task of reset week because I usually make it such a problem by not checking my inbox regularly. Okay, that's a lie. It's not that I don't check the inbox, it's that I just get overwhelmed quite easily. It's like, oh wow, somebody wrote me a really nice response to something that I sent them or whatever, like, weekly newsletter stuff. And then I'm like, I really want to reply to this with intention and with like the extent that they have like sent me stuff kind of a thing, equal exchange, I suppose, which then gets put on my mental list of, haha, that's a future me problem, and I put it off, 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 and then we get to reset week, and I get to do them all at once. I'm hoping to change that in the next 3 months as well. Maybe get into a better routine with my inbox and sorting those things out and such on a more regular basis. But for today, it's going to be inbox zero for all 3 of my inboxes. Wah, wah. I know it'll feel good when it's done. It's just a slog. But that's okay. We've done hard things and we can do hard things. Breakfast was delicious and day 1 on the walking pad went quite well. I do think I need to kind of review some of the systems around it. For instance, like setting up the TV so that I can put things on to watch, making sure the volume is okay, maybe even lining up the things I want to watch so I don't have to change track halfway through because the video I picked isn't long enough, mainly because I don't have pockets in the pants that I walk in, so I don't really want to have to get off the walking pad in order to change the video. I also don't really want to be changing it through my phone because ideally, when it comes to doing my 3 months change your life challenge, I don't want to be using social media in the morning, and I feel like not having my phone on my person would be a good idea for that. So trying to figure out a way to do that. Also, because previously I've been doing laps around my kitchen and such, I've had the heater on in the downstairs area, but the heater, this guy here, points directly at me when I'm on the walking pad, and you're walking, you're getting warmer. So having the heater on and pointing at you doesn't really, well, it's not needed. Let's put it that way. It feels like a waste of power because it's just heating me up more than I need to be heated up. So maybe I don't have that on in the morning. But I do like having at least the room warm to kind of incentivize me to get up. So maybe I still put the timer on to heat the room up before I get down here. I'm going to have to think about it. Another consideration I need to have is water and how I'm going to make that easily accessible throughout because I couldn't reach it where it was stationed. So I just didn't drink any water while I was walking, which is fine. It's not like I felt hard pressed to have a drink or anything, but I would like the option to have it available. So some tweaking that needs to be done, a couple of changes to get the system right, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. I do also need to find a storage spot for it because the middle of the floor isn't necessarily ideal. For now though, shower and then on to doing my calendar. So we might be getting to work just a little later than anticipated, like an hour later than anticipated. So the task of calendar, or like effectively going through organizing my calendar for Q3, making sure everything's logged on there, making sure that my ideal week is structured in there. That was initially scheduled for an hour and a half. I'm going to see if I can do it in like half an hour to maybe an hour, 45 minutes-ish, somewhere in that kind of region, because I do know that my inbox is going to take me a while and I don't want it to drag on all day. I'm not going to do a bad job by pressing myself to go too fast. I just want to try and remain focused so I can really get it done. The idea behind this ideal week that I'm going to be putting in my calendar isn't so much to hold myself to this very specific rigid structure, but it gives me kind of a baseline to strive for, return to kind of structure my week around. In particular, I want to do this because one of my goals is to look at how I schedule my work, because we've talked about it before. I enjoy my work, so I work often, and I want to try and condense my work calendar so I have less work days. Not only having one full day off per week, but also maybe some afternoons as well. I thought that would be just kind of nice because given the fact that I do work for myself and I have that flexibility, I just don't really make use of that free will. So I'd like to try and be a little bit more intentional about it. My general weekly structure at the moment is that Monday would be a live streaming day. We've got Thursday Friday and Saturday being video releases. Monday would also be the day that I do like the towels washing and such. Wednesday is Bujo Wednesday, and then work just kind of gets sprinkled in amongst all of those. Sunday is also the day for community events and also meal prep, but I don't think I'm making really good use of my energy throughout the week. For instance, Thursday is my low energy day typically, and I keep on trying to make myself edit my videos, which is already a task that I don't particularly enjoy, so it's kind of energy sucking. On a day that I don't have a lot of energy, doesn't make a lot of sense. So the restructuring that I'm thinking about going with, or at least I'm going to trial for Q3, is moving my live stream from Monday my time to Thursday, and thus moving my video release from Thursday to Tuesday, and moving all of our membership perks, which typically come out on a Tuesday, to Monday. This also means moving my Epic Goals work-alongs from Tuesday to Monday, because I'll have the morning to be able to do those. And also because Monday is a high energy day, it's a really great opportunity to just get in and get work done. This is the first time that I have changed up my video release schedule in many years, so I'm curious to see what kind of effects it has that I might not have thought of already. I know in theory, YouTube says like release time and release day doesn't actually impact overall views, and I keep trying to tell myself that, but you know, when all of your previous videos have come out at a set specific time, it does kind of play around with things, at least for a little bit, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm optimistic about it though, because using my energy better is something I really want to do. I've been saying I want to do it for a while, but I think that this schedule is going to help me utilize that energy better. Just kind of intentionally putting high energy tasks or tasks that require higher energy in the periods where I have higher energy, and then putting those low energy tasks in the periods where I have lower energy. It just makes sense. This is the general structure that I've come up with so far. It's not necessarily perfect. It's obviously got some gaps, which isn't a bad thing. It's just something to be mindful of. Like, how am I going to use those times? In particular, how am I going to use them for not work? Because if I don't specify something to do with them, work will just end up there. So I've gone and made the general scaffold with most of the blocks that happen in the middle of the day. And then I can drag those over to my main calendar, or at least I technically already have done that. And then I just delete the ones that aren't going to be necessary for that given week. So you can see, for instance, on this future week, we already have some items that are already on this calendar, so I can just chop and change things, like make that smaller and just tuck in what I'm going to do in that block, but they're already kind of like pre-scaffolded out, and then I can use this as an overlay to take me back to baseline if I make too many edits. I think this new system of having the blocks already on the calendar is really going to help me just to be quite intentional about going and filling the blocks with what I want to do, rather than having to kind of like start from a blank slate every single week. At least that's what I'm hoping for. It's looking cute. I mean, I like the colors. I color code my calendar by life area just so I can kind of see a balance of my time over all of my life areas. And it's not to say that this is actually going to be happening every week, right? Just because it is like scaffolded in there doesn't mean that is going to be what I do every single week. It's more so just a baseline to start with, so I don't have to start with a blank slate. By putting that ideal week in though, that means I've actually also scheduled the recurring events of work, physical health, goal work, and leisure. So now it's just time to make sure that I've scheduled the irregular events like days off and what I'm calling image care, which is effectively just doing things like my hair dyeing, make sure I deal with some of my fun PCOS symptoms, and all of those other things that help me feel like a put together person. I don't necessarily need those to happen on a specific day of the week though, but I probably want them to happen at a semi-regular interval, so I'm just going to go and slot them in as a like day event, and then I can put them wherever is kind of reasonable within that week when I actually get to the week. There we go, so they're just scheduled on one of the days of the week, and I can move them around to a more appropriate time when we're closer to the day. With that task done though, it does mean it is time to tackle the inbox. I think I'm going to apply the strategy of setting a visual timer and effectively timing how long it takes me to get through everything, kind of as a way to pressure me to get it done quicker. It's currently 11:30. I am hoping to have this done by 1 o'clock, because that's when I want to have lunch, and then just like chill and relax, hopefully, or possibly move on to something else, depending on how I feel at the time. But I want to effectively reward myself for getting the inbox done, and that means clearing out all of the emails I don't need, responding to all of the ones I need to respond to, filing the ones that need to be saved for later, like for some reason, not saving ones that need a response, because I want to just respond. That is what I want to do. I know I put this on Thursday morning because I'd have more energy than Thursday afternoon, and then I could take the afternoon off, but like, we gotta get it done though. It's gotta happen. We are starting with 33 in the personal inbox, 15 in the home inbox, and 323 with 87 unread in the work inbox. I know for some people that is a laughably small amount, whereas for others that is ridiculously high. For me, it's just overwhelming and I want it gone, so we're gonna do future Jess a favor and get it done. I may or may not have gotten distracted in finding an email that was really better responded to via a call, so I'm now at 1 hour and 5 minutes. The timer is still timing though, the emails are not done. I have about 156-ish that I flagged as like, you should respond to this. I'm gonna see if I can whittle that down, but the email inbox for work is currently at 28 items, ignoring the stuff that I feel like needs a response. So, progress? I mean, technically, the home and the personal inboxes are done, so like, I think that's still a win. It's currently 1:04, we have 0 items in the inbox. It's been 1 hour and 27 minutes, and there are 157 emails that I am thinking about responding to. For now though, given that it's 1 o'clock, I'm gonna go and grab some lunch. For lunch today, we're having a snackle plate, which effectively means an apple and whatever else I can find in the cupboard, because we're going out for date night today. One of the things that I'm really trying to get started up in Q3 is weekly date nights with Vogel. We've been doing better this year in terms of having more regular date nights, but it isn't super routinized. I don't want it to be like routinized, like formulaic or anything, but having a set day that is kind of like the default for when we have a date night or whatever, I think would be good for us. Tonight we're going to Wildfire. I'm so excited. It is one of my favorite restaurants. In fact, I'd probably go as far to say it is my favorite restaurant, and we're gonna come home and watch a movie. Should be good. But in order to do that, given the fact that it is all-you-can-eat Brazilian barbecue, I don't want to have too much for lunch. And I want to have lunch now. So let's go do that. Not necessarily the most exciting lunch, but I'm looking forward to it. All gone now though, so back to the emails. The idea of writing 150 plus responses though is not very appealing. So I'm gonna put on a YouTube video in the background. It's just one about decluttering or something, because I'm just really excited about my decluttering project. So this is keeping me like amped up to do that. I don't foresee myself getting through all of these, but I also don't want to come into this with a defeatist mindset, so we're gonna crush it, and it's not gonna take too long, and it's gonna be great. It's been 50 minutes. I'm down to 101. I don't want to do any more. I know I need to do some more though. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort them by most recently hit the inbox, do at least 2 weeks, and then have a look at how many are done. Like 2 weeks since somebody emailed me, and then we'll see how many I have left, because I would love to be better at it. I would love to be the kind of person who gets an email and responds to the email like in the same day, and that is what I'm striving for in Q3. But I kind of feel like having this project here, which has 3 months or more worth of emails that I haven't responded to, is holding me back from that possibility. Like, that future is being held back because I feel like I have to do all of this backlog first. I don't know. I want to respond. I'm just not the greatest at type replying. Like, for instance, when a lot of people message me on Instagram nowadays, I get too lazy to type, so I just voice record back to them. I like to think it's more personalized because it's in my voice, but at the same time, not everybody wants to listen to me rambling at them, so. Email and Jess are not friends. We hope to get to a stage where they can at least coexist. 2 weeks worth, then we will see what we've got. It's currently 2:26, we have 101, let's see what we can do. It is now 3 o'clock, I did not get very far, but what I did get was distracted and started watching reels instead of doing the inbox 0, which I am taking as a sign to stop. I think that noticing that now means that I'm saving myself a lot of time just sitting here doing a task that is not really serving me at all, scrolling the Instagram. It's not filling my cup, it's not getting my work done, so it's not a genuine leisure task. So I might as well just call it a day for the email inbox, maybe pick it up tomorrow, maybe while I'm dyeing my hair, you know, gotta sit there and do not very much while the hair dye is doing its thing, so inbox 0 sounds like a good task for then. For now, instead, I'm gonna go downstairs and have some genuine leisure time. Might play some Xbox. Maybe I could do it while I'm on my walking pad. That sounds dangerous. Let's give it a try. But I can at least cross off that I did the home inbox and the personal inbox and some of the work inbox. Just gotta keep reminding myself that some is better than none. Walking on the walking pad while gaming was a fun experiment, though I definitely learned the hard way that I probably should wear shoes on the equipment. So once I got 8,000 steps, I decided to just put myself onto the couch and have a chill rest of the afternoon. Now though, it is time to head off, pick up Vogel, because it is almost time for Wildfire. I am so excited. This is my favorite restaurant. can't. It's going to be such a good meal. And I hope I haven't jinxed it by saying all of this. And also, by going and driving to pick him up, it gives me some more time to listen to the audiobook of the book club book. Progress to be made. Excited for dinner?
Very excited. Today's been an interesting day.
Enjoying your dinner?
Yes.
What was the best part so far?
The drink.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting right here.
Hello?
The company. No, the drink was pretty good. What was your drink called?
Mangoes into a bar.
What's in it?
Mango, I think?
In terms of your edible things, not your edibles, because that's a different thing.
I don't have any edibles. Don't cancel me, police.
I know, right? The police are going to get you. Of the eatable things, what was your favorite eatable?
Pasta.
The pasta was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I also really like the jalapeno poppers, even though I did murder.
Yep, he did murder. They did murder on you.
Yeah, I murdered them and they murdered me.
It was just mutual murdering.
And this is why I can't decide on my last thing that I want to eat, because I don't know what was the best. They're all so good.
We've got the little nubbin turned over to tell them no more food for right now. And we're going to try and flip it over when we see something that we want coming, just because we don't want to have to say no to people who bring us things that they're like, hey, you want cauliflower? I'm like, no, I never want cauliflower. Ever. Don't ask me that question again.
But it's firecracker cauliflower.
So it's even worse.
So it's spicy cauliflower.
The worst. After dinner though, we just went home, watched a movie on the couch. It was K-pop Demon Hunters. Really, very good soundtrack. Enjoyable movie. Probably a 4.5 out of 5. Some parts were just a little bit like not quite right for me personally, but overall, very enjoyable. Now though, we must get sleep, because sleep is a priority on reset week, so good night. Good morning, happy Friday. I, despite my efforts yesterday cleaning up my inbox, woke up to 12 new emails. Why won't it stop? It's fine. It's okay. I think that I can sort through those quickly this morning. I mean, I still haven't responded to the reply folder, so like, but we're gonna do some of that when I'm dyeing my hair. That is obviously on the cards for today. So it's kind of like personal self-image care, like everything, shower, doing a dry brush, because I haven't done one before. Like I have a dry brush, I haven't actually like used it, and then also doing my hair dyeing. We then have dealing with the house and also physical care, self-care, like physical health stuff. Not so much in the terms of like, oh, let's just do excessive amounts of exercise today, but more so let us go and research for meal prep ideas, because I have been having the same breakfast for the last 3 weeks, and while I love it, I am definitely an overnight oats fan. It would be nice to have something different next week. Now I need to figure out what I need to meal prep on Sunday today so that we can get it at the groceries and stuff. So exciting things to do, but I do need to get out of bed first. Given my findings from yesterday though, I have made some changes. For one, I have not turned on the heat pump because I will get warm by walking. And then for 2, 3, and 4, I have my water bottle, the remote for the walking pad, and the remote for the television on the ottoman right next to the walking pad. The other change is that I'm going to wear shoes because I hurt my feet yesterday. Not in the morning while I was walking, that was fine. It was when I was gaming, got distracted, kind of slowed down at an awkward time, and went off the back of the machine and got my toe caught under one of the plastic flaps. Ouch. That system worked way better. I was actually able to access my stuff while I was walking without having to like get off, get the bottle, get back on, or anything like that. For now though, we are definitely running a little bit behind, so it's time for hair dyeing, and then during that I'll try and do some more inbox zero. Then after that, we can do everything shower and everything else for the day. I do want to get into a more regular routine with my hair dyeing, which is why I'm glad I now have them scheduled on my calendar. So they might actually happen, because I typically do my hair dye during reset week and then I just kind of leave it for 13 weeks, which isn't ideal for regrowth. Looking fabulous. It'll definitely look better once it's all cleaned out, and I certainly have some cleanup to do because Got a little messy with it, but that's okay. Now we just need to let this sit, clean up, let this sit, and wash it out. Nice. While I wait for this to do its thing though, there are two things I want to do. One, email, just a little bit more because every little bit helps, right? And two is dry brushing, which is kind of like an exfoliation technique from my understanding. Haven't really done it before. Gonna be an interesting time and hopefully it feels productive. I feel like I should probably go and have a look at some videos online that show me how I'm supposed to do this in a way that's actually useful rather than just me being like, I'm glad I went and found a video about the dry brushing thing because I thought it was just for exfoliation. Turns out it's for lymphatic drainage. Didn't know this, but now I do. Didn't even realize that was a thing that I was, in theory, supposed to do. Supposed to is a strong word for it though. Are we really supposed to do anything? I've got my dry brush though, so let's go do a thing. Started on the tidying up of spaces, I'm just gonna switch those two around and I'm gonna see if I can condense this to take less time. Realistically, I don't want to do too much tidying up. I just want to put things away where they kind of belong and take the rubbish out of my different rooms that have rubbish bins. I'm not doing any kind of like major decluttering here or anything, which I do sometimes do because I want to hold that off until my proper decluttering project, which I know I keep going on about that I'm very excited, but I am very excited. For this though, I'm just gonna put some music on, maybe a podcast or something, and do as much as I want to. And I think I'll start in my bedroom, mainly because realistically there shouldn't be all that much to do there. I figure there's not a lot of point in moving the walking pad until after I walk tomorrow, which given the front wheels and the fact that it's fairly light, I mean it didn't feel light when it fell on my foot the other day, but it is technically fairly light. I think that moving it in the morning isn't really going to be too bad, and then doing a quick once over with the vacuum shouldn't add too much time. But that actually means that now it's time for lunch, and my home tidy up took a lot less time than I thought. I still need to wait for the second load of laundry and the drying to be done so that I can remake the bed, but that might be not today me problem. Mainly because it's still Friday and I want to have some chill time. The brain has definitely taken on board the idea of the Friday chill time because I have gotten distracted at least 5 times since getting up for lunch and then being here now. It's currently 2:45. I need to do some research in terms of the meal prep options. And I find that the hardest part about meal prep is that I am a fussy eater. There are just certain things that I do not enjoy and I don't want to force myself to enjoy them, so I realistically aim to find recipes that just don't utilize those ingredients or they're very easily substituted out. So like, I'm not going to be here making stuffed bell peppers because I don't like bell peppers. I tried to like them. I tried to cook with them and ended up wasting a full week's worth of meal prep one week because the bell peppers were there. For this process, I am going to actively avoid Instagram, even though I know there's a lot of different things on my feed that are meal prep related, just because I know that it'll be way too easy to get sucked in and go on a tangent and look at other stuff. I think what I might start with though is Pinterest because I really love the visuals, but typically speaking, when you do a search on Pinterest, you just get that stuff. You don't get sucked down a Reels hole, so should be okay. Realistically, I'm only looking for 4 new breakfasts and 4 new lunches, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I also want to pick out what my breakfast and lunch for next week are gonna be so that I can prepare those on Sunday. So I'm a complete sucker for pictures, and I just found this website that is just meal plan after meal plan after meal plan for each week with all of these, like, you know, make ahead recipes, and I am excited. Don't worry, I linked it in the description box if you're curious. I wrote myself out some lists of things that I could make, so I've at least got some options to go with. And I think the one that I'm going to make for next week is going to be the pear and chai baked oatmeal for breakfast, because that sounds pretty nice, and a sticky chicken with lime rice type bowl thing for lunch. I just enjoy having a hot lunch, so I enjoy things that I can just bung in the microwave and then have hot on the day, but also things that freeze well because I don't like to leave things in the fridge for the entire week just in case I don't get to them, because sometimes things happen. That means I have now found the 4 lunches and I found 4 breakfasts. I haven't done the meal prep, but I've at least planned what I'm going to make for the meal prep. So now I have to find a stretching routine. For this, it doesn't necessarily have to be like the be all and end all of stretching routines. It's more so the one I'm going to start with next week as part of my 3 months change your life challenge, because I want to improve my flexibility because I'm getting older and I am definitely getting less flexible. Thankfully, YouTube is excellent at finding things, so that took literally no time at all. There are so many options. I've just gone with one that's like beginner flexibility routine. I'm gonna start with that, do that for at least a couple of days, and if I feel like I need something more, I'll go find something more. Heck yeah, beginner flexibility routine stretches for the inflexible by MadFit. Thank you so much. I also appreciate the number of beginners in the comments who are kind of like taking sound bites from her being like, you know, make sure to push yourself a little further and rah-rah. And it's like, ma'am, that's as far as it goes. So notably for beginners have been doing it. So I feel like me, as a beginner who is venturing into this increase my flexibility journey, should be good. This is my favorite comment so far. Is there a level that's before beginner? I just did this and learned I'm as flexible as a flagpole. I am in the right place. Saved and ready for next week. And I totally forgot that we had washing in the washing machine, so best go and get that before it starts to, I don't know, smell bad. I know it probably takes a while until it starts to smell bad, but I don't want to risk it. I put that laundry on and was feeling really positive about myself, so best go put it in the dryer. After changing the laundry over though, then I just did a little bit more research on my computer regarding stretching routines and meals just to make sure I was happy with my choices. Then Vogel came home, we hung out on the couch, had a game social, and now it's 10:37 and definitely time for bed. Technically speaking, it was definitely time for bed at 9:45 when I was actually tired, but you know who got distracted by Reels. It's me. Tomorrow my bridesmaids are coming over though, so that we can have what we're calling Bridesmaids Day, which is effectively getting them measured up for their dresses and such. So that should be good. I'm looking forward to it, but I do need to make sure that I wake up in the morning at a reasonable time to do the exercise, to do a little responding to comments on the YouTubes, all that kind of stuff before they get here, and then also pick Rachel up. So in order to get good enough sleep before that, good night. After what could best be described as a rocky sleep, we are awake and ready to tackle the day. First thing, get out of bed. It is 8:20 and I have been sitting here scrolling. This is something that I hope to change in future so that then I get up a little closer to when my alarm actually goes off, because my alarm goes off at 7:30. But get up, get ready for exercise, have some breakfast, and then figure out what I'm doing with the rest of my morning until my friends arrive. I don't know if it's from the walking pad or from something else I've done, but the back of my calves are killing me. Like, they're just constantly aching. But I'm sure that it's very much one of those like, hey, you haven't used these muscles in a while type deal, so we're just gonna make them ache so you remember that they're there. I'm actually not too sure what I still have on my reset list to get done, because I feel like I've tackled most areas. Today is very much just about like that social kind of connection time, refilling my cup socially so that again, we can enter the new quarter feeling cool, calm and collected, rejuvenated, refreshed. It'll also be good to have my bridesmaids' dresses sussed, because that's been one thing that's on my list that I'm like, oh my god, I really need to get this done. Which, technically speaking, we did schedule this day well in advance, so we knew when it was going to happen, because myself and pretty much all of my closest friends are on a kind of like health kick at the moment, like trying to do better with our eating and our exercise and all of that kind of stuff. It means that the body changes, and to get a dress that actually fits, we wanted it to be kind of as close to the wedding as possible without being like so close that it'll actually be a panic if things kind of get delayed. I'm really excited to see them in their dresses when they do arrive though, because they're all going to look so pretty. Because kind of the point of the day is to take measurements for those dresses. I also thought it'd be a really good opportunity to do some kind of like baseline statistics for myself for the 3-month challenge, essentially seeing what size I am in, you know, the general areas now, so that then at the end of the 3 months we can compare and see if anything's changed. Hopefully they've changed in the direction I want them to, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously before they get here I need to tidy this up, but before I do that I need to do my walk. Push it under the whole way, but I figured this is out of the way enough that it won't be a tripping hazard. Yeah, I sat down temporarily to admire the nice tidy lounge room I have. And yep, you guessed it, I got sucked into a Reels hole, so I did nothing else productive with my time before we have to leave the house. But that's okay, because it is a day of rest. It is kind of the point of Reset Week, to rest. So technically I'm fulfilling the assignment. But we do have to leave and go pick up Rachel so that then we can get back and just do some more chilling. Plate snack or plate. It's time for snacks. Oh yeah. It's time for snacks. Alrighty, we're good. We have the bow ties, we have the dresses, and we are locking in. I think. I hope. Okay, we're gonna press the button. Go away! A most enjoyable day. We ended up just hanging out, having snackle plate, which is essentially just, you know, having a bunch of snacks and putting it on your plate and eating it. Typically trying to keep them in the realm of healthy things, but it was quite tasty. We did the measurements for all of their bridesmaids' dresses and got those ordered, so that's exciting. Another thing to check off the to-do wedding list. And then once Emily headed off, we ended up watching a Cinderella musical. It's like a more recent release. I don't know what year, but like recently. It was not necessarily what some might say a good film, but it was entertaining. We did some coloring books. We then went and got some dinner, watched another movie, which was Irish Wish, which is with Lindsay Lohan. That one was like a 3.5 out of 5. Like a good time for a one-time watch, but not one you have to really rewatch. And now it's 10:04, and thus time to think about getting to sleep, because tomorrow I have to be up bright and early, and by that I mean the same time as usual, because I need to do my exercise, and then get ready to go to a resin workshop, which I'm very excited for. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm very excited for it. So, good night. Good morning, happy Sunday. We are ready to start the day, which means getting on and doing our exercise. But of course, past Jess didn't tidy up after her friends were here, so we kind of have to at least move some things out of the way so that this will actually work. Looking forward to exercise though, looking forward to the resin class. Just need to make sure that I get all my morning stuff done in time to head on up there. And also look at where we're going, because I don't like getting in the car not knowing where I'm going. together, and also wearing our schlumpy pants that have stains on them because we needed to wear something we didn't mind getting dirty. I don't have any tops like that, but the pants will do. And I still just hope I won't get anything on myself. These are the kind of emails that I just don't need today. Oh my gosh, stop reminding me! Definitely not the type of art class if you're a perfectionist and you get really particular about where the resin's gonna go. So I struggled, but I had a lot of fun and I think my pieces look pretty good. I'm actually quite pleased with the heart and how that turned out, because that one was more like, hey, let's just like slop some resin down and see how it goes. She's so cheeky. Trying to get in the back of the shot. So cheeky, my mum. We ended up going to the Mediterranean Food Warehouse for lunch and got pizza. So dang tasty. But of course, we couldn't pass up having ice cream for dessert, because if there's ice cream on offer, especially good quality ice cream, we always take the opportunity. But at the moment, we're just having a look around the little shop, just having a snoop on some of the food products they have available. Trying to resist buying anything though, because I don't need anything. Yay! Back home now. Vogel is excited to be here. Okay, maybe not. That's fine. I'm excited he's here. And it is time for meal prep, so that then I actually have lunches and breakfasts for the week ahead, so that I eat better than I would without my meal prepped items. For lunch next week, I'm making sticky chicken with lime rice and stir-fried veggies. And for breakfast, I'm making a pear and chai oatmeal bake. I haven't made either of these before, so I'm hoping they turn out alright. The pear oatmeal bake I feel like is going to be just fine, because I've made general oatmeal bake before, even if it wasn't this specific recipe. But the sticky chicken, anytime we've done it, it's been my mum making it, so I'm just hoping mine turns out okay. I always really enjoy it when she makes it, but I'm just worried mine's not going to be as good. All of the food is either in the oven or has been packaged up and put into the fridge, so progress is being made. I'm feeling good about my meals for next week. I'm quite excited in particular for the pear and chai oatmeal bake thing, because that flavor just sounds good. Like, I tried some of the batter and that tasted good, so I hope that the actual bake tastes good too. For now though, it is 7:45 and thus almost dinner time, so I'm not going to do too much before we end up eating. Maybe just tidy up the kitchen a bit, because things are a little bit of a mess. Should probably go and tidy those things up. Vogel's just downstairs now, tidying up after meal prep and dinner and all of that, and I am consulting my priorities list for next week, because one of the very important things for me being able to make the most of any week is making sure I know what I need to do before the week gets there. So I actually already went and populated my priorities list as part of Bujo Wednesday. I just filled it in then. So essentially transferring the action points from my goal plans, or week 1 on my goal plans, into here, because this is week 1. In terms of things that I'm going to be doing next week to support me in my 3-month goals, we have meal planning and then prepping breakfast and lunch for week 2. That one kind of goes every single week, so just chuck those in first. We also have collating all of my future me problems, so going through my old journal, this guy here, and transferring all of those potential future me problems or projects into my yearly collections journal, so I have them all in one spot. I'm not going to start doing them, I'm just going to put them all in there. Baby steps here. There's a lot of stuff related to research, because that's kind of what I want to start off with, because I know that if I don't give myself the research time, I'm just going to procrastinate on actually taking action. Like, research is an action, but it's also where a lot of goals kind of stall out. I don't want that to happen, so I'm just condensing it to make sure I just do it all in 1 week, get all the research out of the way, and then the rest of my time is just action taking. So we have researching sleep habits, researching app blocking hours, researching guided meditations, and then along with the researching, we also have some kind of planning, brainstorming, and outlining. So planning my sleep schedule, planning my phone B&B, which is effectively like a bed and breakfast for your phone. I'm not actually going to be feeding the phone, I'm going to be charging the phone, so you could kind of call it a charging station, but I like the term B&B better, I think it sounds cuter. Outlining my rules for social media in the morning, in the sense that I don't want to be using it in the mornings, so I just want to give myself some guidelines on that so I know what success looks like. Moving removing any of my time-sucking apps from the easy-to-access places on my phone. So not like the bottom bar, not like the front screen, maybe in a folder or something like that. I want to brainstorm different hobby options as I go and search for a new hobby for myself. And then once I have that brainstorm, I want to categorize them by focus, or like how much you need to focus on it in order to do the hobby. Like, could you do it while watching TV? Could you do it while listening to music or an audiobook or something like that? I want to plan my date nights for the month coming, in the sense that we're going to be doing alternating weeks. So he plans next week, I plan the week after, so on and so forth. I want to go through and calculate the total amount of money that I need for our wedding, and then the total amount I need to earn to contribute to that and my savings goal. Brainstorm sponsor options for the podcast and newsletter. Confirm my expectations around the journal prompt library project. Go do our wedding tastings for the cake and for like the menu catering, and also proofread our celebrant speech. A decent list of stuff to do, but I think it should all be okay. A lot of those tasks should only take me like 5 to 10 minutes, so I don't think it's going to be too bad. I hope. To make sure I was fully ready for tomorrow though, I also went and started off a daily log for myself, just noting down some things that I know I want to get done. And then for the rest of the evening, Vogel and I just chilled out on the couch, watched some TV together, and enjoyed each other's company. Well, it's 9:30 now, which means time to think about getting into bed, because good rest is always a good way to start the new quarter. I'm so excited for our 3-month challenge. It is going to be so good. And in particular, tomorrow, I'm really excited to take my kind of like baseline statistics, or effectively thinking about where I started, so when we get to the end, we can make a really good comparison. I know that the next 3 months are going to be challenging and they're going to be a lot of work, but I think they're really going to pay off. And I hope that you join the challenge with us. Reset week very much helped me get kind of like pumped up and also prepared for the challenge, but I'm also going to be doing more prep next week, because I think that the main focus for week 1 is going to be further planning and research, along with taking action, especially on those daily kind of habit type goals. If you want to check out all of the videos that are out for the challenge so far, then I'll link it in the playlist at the end. But now for something completely different. Good morning, happy Wednesday. Waking up early translated into, nope, the other way around. I told Vogel to get out of the way so I could film. Now he's Blair Witching me. Nice panning shot of the bed looking lovely and made up. Meanwhile, over there, womp womp womp. Despite starting quarter 2.
This is bad. You're gonna judge me.
That doesn't look very central, does it? Whoa, that angle is bad. Good morning, happy Wednesday. Waking up, nope, I did it again. Damn it. Testing, 1, 3. I know I don't need this last rice grain, but it'd be really nice if it just got out of the container. I did end up going and writing myself a list. Oh god, that was my throat.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but given our complexion, we don't do good with spice.
As I was saying, for the 3rd time. Good morning. Going to bed early. Went Wednesday. Okay. Oof, I look very tired today. I don't mean to though. Oh, don't be silly. When you stuff it up, go forth. You're doing great. You're not looking at the camera.
Where's the camera? Oh, it's there.
Yep. You're looking at yourself like a fool. You can tell it's first thing in the morning because I can't get my words right. It's okay, we persevere. You have absolutely no idea the number of times I have to refilm things because I like stuff up my wording, or I get caught up in a thought, or like just something goes wrong. But as said, if you want to check out the 3 months to change your life challenge, then all of the videos for that one are in this playlist here. In that one you can see what our challenge actually is and any of the progress videos we have so far. So click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.